so for today's lesson, we're going to talk about density. I'm going to demonstrate the density of 4 liquids. If you would like to follow along, take a few minutes to gather your materials. Here is what you'll need: dish soap, syrup, vegetable oil, rubbing alcohol, toothpick or small piece of wood, popcorn kernel, a staple, plastic, any kind of clear cup or bottle that allows you to see the liquids and materials. I'm using a graduated cylinder. Now that I have all my materials ready, let's take a few moments to talk about the lab. In today's lab, we'll be investigating the density of the 4 liquids. I will be pouring each of the 4 liquids into the graduated cylinder and observing how they separate into layers based off their densities. Before we begin pouring, I want to share with you the true densities of each liquid. Starting with our dish soap. The density is 1.06 grams per milliliter. Syrup has a density of 1.37 grams per milliliter. Rubbing alcohol has a density of 0.79 grams per milliliter. And vegetable oil has a density of 0.92 grams per milliliter. Using the densities, I want you to develop a hypothesis. Predict the order the liquids will settle in. Now that you've made your hypothesis, let's begin. I'm starting with syrup, pouring 20 milliliters into the graduated cylinder. As I pour the next 3 liquids, I want you to observe how they separate and think about your hypothesis. So now I'm going to pour my soap, also 20 milliliters. The third liquid I will pour is 20 milliliters of vegetable oil. Are they separating in the layers you thought they would? And lastly, 20 milliliters of alcohol. So now I have my 4 liquids in the container. Take a moment to make observations. After you make your observations, list the liquids from least dense to most dense. Water has a density of 1 gram per milliliter. If I add water to my graduated cylinder, where do you think the water layer would be? Now think about our topic. Why did the liquids separate into layers? Now that we have watched our liquids separate, I'm going to add my 4 objects. As I drop them in, notice where they land. If you have the 4 objects, you can drop them in at any time. Here is the popcorn kernel, the toothpick, the staple, and the piece of plastic. Go ahead and answer the following question. For the last few questions in the video, I'm going to hold the camera up to the graduated cylinder closely so you can see where the objects are located. Here is the popcorn kernel. Look at the layer of syrup. Now I'm zooming back out so you can see the entire graduated cylinder. Look at the top layer. For the remainder of the video, you will complete your conclusion. Do not exit Edpuzzle until you are finished. Let me know when you are done.